Welcome to this demonstration video about container technologies and especially Docker. So we are going to start with exploring with Docker. And I'm using this Docker Playground. You can see the address of it here if you want to try it out. It is essentially an online playground where you can run Docker. So here we can see that the Docker is installed. By running just this Docker command, it shows all the available commands. There are a lot of them, but we will going to focus on the most important ones. So first of all, Docker is a technology for packaging containerizing applications, which means essentially to package both the application source code and the runtime environment in a container. And well, there are multiple ways to, or two major ways to build containers. You can use ready-made images in order to create containers, or then you can build your own images and run them. So the concepts of image and container are the most important ones in Docker. Image is essentially an blueprint of an application and its runtime environment, and container can be viewed as a runnable instance of an image. Also, pulling and pushing are relevant commands, especially in this video. Just like version control systems have these remote repositories, also software containers have remote repositories, and it is possible to push to an external repository or pull from an existing repository. The Docker Hub is an example of a container registry. Container registry is essentially a remote repository of containers. Yes, so we can start by pulling an example image that is provided by Docker. So it is called hello-world. So by running Docker pull, I have now pulled the image here, and well, I can use Docker images command to see that I have this image now in my local Docker repository. Running an container from an image happens with docker run command, so we can do docker run hello world in order to run a container from the image. So this container essentially prints us some basic information. It is kind of a hello world example from Docker. Well, as you can see here, Docker suggests that we will try to run an Ubuntu image, and we can do that. Let's first pull the Ubuntu image. It is not necessary, but if we would run just this command here, it would automatically pull it, but let's do it here manually for practice. So Docker images now gives us both the hello world and the Ubuntu images. So now we can run the Ubuntu image, but as you can see, there are some additional options here. This means that -it means that we are going to run it and attach to the container, launch an interactive terminal on the container, and we will run bash that is available on the Ubuntu image. So essentially what we will get is a terminal inside the container, so let's try to do that. Let's see if I can, well, I can just write it. So now I am inside the container, inside the Ubuntu container running bash, and I can run all kinds of bash commands here. The container is most likely empty, as it can be seen here, but this is just a kind of a cool demonstration of what can be done with the containers. So in this video we have now used 2 images and run 2 containers from them. There are also loads of more important aspects in Docker, for example volumes that are essentially file systems that can be attached to containers. Then there are networks and all kinds of things, but the concept of image and the container are the most important one in the beginning, when beginning to use the Docker.